Now we're going to move on over to our next guest that's coming on, and she's actually been just a little bit out of racing for a season. We're going to find out what it's like to be out, what anticipation she has moving back forward into racing. I would like to welcome Tiffany Wyzard to the show. Tiffany, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm fabulous. Now, you know, I talked earlier about the Chili Bowl and how fabulous it was and the one heck of a race that everybody got to watch. But one thing that I didn't mention is everybody has been talking about how sick they are after leaving the Chili Bowl, and I understand it got you too.
Oh, yeah, of course it did. I lost my voice when I was down there, actually, from breathing in all the fumes and stuff. So I'm actually just starting to get my voice back today, so see how it goes.
We're going to bear with you, and we'll take it easy on you, I promise. But everybody's very interested in everything that happened at the Chili Bowl, and everybody keeps asking me all these questions, people that have never been. And I talked a little bit about the top row rowdies and their inflatables. That is something I've never seen at a racetrack before. Have you ever seen something like that?
Yeah, actually at Knoxville they do something like that too, so it's really fun. But I actually got to sit with the rowdies this year, so that was definitely a different experience for me. They had lots of inflatable stuff going around, and they're crazy fans. I mean, it was a blast.
So this is why you have no voice, is because you sat with the top row rowdies.
Right.
That's awesome. Now, before we move any further, we have to give props to your marketing dude, as I want to call him, because nobody wants to give him an official title, so marketing dude. You know, he actually works his butt off to make sure that you are promoted and everything is just top-notch and does press releases. And I just want to say thank you, first of all, to Justin, because he does a great job. And I love the fact that he says, it doesn't look that good. I'm like, are you kidding me? Really? It looks awesome. So he does a great job. Make sure you keep him around. He's working pretty hard over there.
Oh, no, we don't plan on getting rid of him. He's actually done very well this year, getting our name out there. He's worked on packets. He's called radio stations like this. I mean, he's doing an awesome job, and it's really paying off. He's started. He's got us on Twitter. He's got us on Facebook. He's going to start a YouTube channel. He's got GoPros. I mean, he is really on it. I'm very proud of him.
You really have no choice but to be recognized this year, and you're coming back from being off. Now, you do realize, with your name already being out there, that this season may be a tad bit different than before you hung your helmet up.
Yes. I took a year off. I moved to Missouri for a while, and I took some time off, and I came back home and raced a few races, not last year but the year before, and had some motor troubles and just couldn't come up with the money to get the stuff back together. So we took last season off to try to save up our money and really go hard at it this year to be able to prove my skill, because I couldn't stay in the car long enough. I couldn't afford it to even get the seat time that I needed to stay consistent. And that's what we're going to try to do this year. We're going to try to run as many races as we can and see how that goes. But, yeah, I have something to prove because, I mean, I did decent before, but now it's like now or never, you know, getting back in there and see if I can still do it and proving myself. So I'm really
I think you're going to end up proving
year.
a lot to yourself. So tell us a little bit about how you actually got started with racing.
I got started racing when I was 8 years old. My dad always wanted to race when he was a child. He never got the opportunity because there was so many brothers and sisters, and they just couldn't afford it either. So we were driving by Rick's kart shop, and we met a guy named John Mohan, and he got us into some quarter midgets, and we just moved up from there. We did quarter midgets for 4 years, I think it was, and moved up to the mini sprints and did that for 6 years, and then got into the sprint car, and here we are.
I love that you say that. And here we are, like, so matter-of-factly. Here we are. It just happened. Now, you've got a lot of racing from 8 years old until now. That's a lot of racing. I'm always so jealous of people that start off so young because, sadly, I was 25 and jumped into a car and had no clue what I was doing. So I just look like a complete idiot out there, to whereas younger folks, you kind of get to look ridiculous because you're so young when you're starting off. I didn't get that advantage. It's now catching up with me.
I think when you're that young, it teaches you to be more dedicated to it. And, I mean, that's all I did when I was younger. You know, on the weekends, we didn't really go on vacations and stuff. You know, we went to the races. And my dad always took me to the races. Even before I started, we'd go to a local track, Jacksonville Speedway, and just go watch sprint cars. And that was always my goal, was to get into a sprint car one day. And, I mean, it happened, so that's just awesome.
I'm hoping that I never end up in a sprint car because I know what's going to happen. But honestly, the flipping, I'm done. There's no way. No way in heck I couldn't do it. I don't know how y'all. It's just another ride for y'all.
It's awesome. I mean, there's no feeling like it. I mean, I drove a midget. I drove a midget twice as a silly ball actually, and I mean, I didn't really get very much seat time, but it's just, I don't know, a sprint car. There's not another feeling. I mean, it's crazy. I went to Knoxville one time, and it was one of those deals where you go into the corner and you know, everybody said you don't really turn when you're going to the corner, and it's like, oh, do I want to brake? Do I want to slow down? I don't turn? It was totally different, and that's probably the only place that I got a little iffy at. So, I mean, I don't know how to explain it, but it's definitely a adrenaline rush.
It's definitely a different experience, that's for sure. Now, you mentioned a little bit about why you took off a whole year, but do you mind going into detail? Because everybody says sprint cars are so easy to maintain, but if you don't have the sponsorship standing behind you, the money has to come from somewhere.
Absolutely. We when I got out of it, my dad actually put another driver in the car. I think that was just kind of to get me back home and to get back in the seat. But he hurt his back, and there was just a lot of things. I was going to school, so I mean, when you race sprint cars, you have to be dedicated, and I mean, I couldn't be dedicated to everything at once. So back at it this year, you know, doing everything I can, trying to get more sponsors this year. We went to IMIS, and we're been still trying to do some follow-up sponsorships with some new ones. So, I mean, my family has done a lot to support me. My mom and dad own a cleaning service, and that's our main sponsor. So we gotta keep them on board and make everything happen with the business, and so we can make this happen.
So what are your plans for 2013? Since you've been out of the season for a year, clearly you're not fearful to go get back in the seat. What plans do you have for 2013?
2013, I'm going to try to do the MOWA, it's the MOLA series. It's just the Midwest series. It's local. We're going to try to run that the whole season in that. And we're definitely going to try to hit the close World of Outlaw races and see how we can run with those guys. And hopefully do a couple IRA shows. There's a couple tracks that I want to run up in Wisconsin and just run with different people and fill out the crowd and stuff like that. I want to try to run as many different tracks as I can. My first year in sprint cars, we ran a ton of different tracks, and we were always traveling. And, I mean, then money got short, and we stayed local, and it's fun, but I just like racing with different drivers and seeing how they take us. So that's always fun.
Who was your number one competitor before you got out of the seat?
Before I got out of the seat, Jared Hall has won the series that I've been racing in since it started. So he's definitely our biggest competitor, and he's been doing it for a while. I used to go to the track and watch him race when I was younger, so it's definitely fun to race against these guys that I've always looked up to.
I could not agree with you more. There are so many people that I used to watch, and now I'm racing with them, and when they come up and just give you advice, it always makes me just gasp, like, oh my gosh, they're actually watching me when they're not on the track, and they're actually giving me advice. And it's a little scary, honestly, you know, because I'm so used to it being the other way around, where I would watch them and be like, oh my gosh, they're doing awesome. And now just to hear them come up and say, you know, hey, you may want to try this or you may want to try that, literally sets me back.
I think it's one of those deals, too, with being a female. I think everybody is going to watch you. They're either watching to see how well you do or how bad you do. So, I mean, I think you're always getting watched.
You are always getting watched. Now, do you feel like you're always getting watched just because you're a female?
Yeah, a lot. Because, I mean, I feel like a lot of people go to the track and say, oh, there's a girl racing, you know, and she's good. Or let's see what she can mess up tonight, you know. That's how I kind of feel how it is, you know. We've gone through a ton of, we've taken a lot of crap, so it is what it is, and as long as you can take it, you can do it. So
that's exactly right. What would you consider to be the best aspect of your racing career so far?
I don't really know. It's fun just going out there and trying different tracks, and we won locally, and that was really neat. It was my second year in a sprint car, winning a local track, and you had all your friends and family and stuff out there, and that was cool. And I would just like to see where I could go from there, and you know, make everyone proud of me back home. So,
what would you consider to be the worst aspect of racing so far?
Not being able to do, like, you know, I was going to school, and I quit going to school for a while just to try to work on my career and try to get sponsors. It really is a full-time job. And then, you know, you still have your regular job that you have to do, too. So you kind of have to give up a few things to do it. I mean, you can't, you know, go on vacations all the time and then just expect for your car to get ready by itself, because it's not going to happen.
What are some of the things that you've given up to actually race?
I would say that, I don't know, just like hanging out with my friends and stuff, like on the weekends and doing that. And then, you know, like when I moved away, we had weddings and stuff. Like my friends were getting married, but we were out of town racing. And like, do I go to that or do I go race? And it's just small things. But I mean, it would be nice to just take a week off and go on vacation and have your stuff ready when you got back home and everything in line to go. But it takes all week to get everything ready when you're just doing it yourself. It's just mainly me and my dad, and we're going to try to get one of our old crew members back on board for next year, Brian Homer, and see if he can help us out a little bit. But I mean, it's just us.
You know, that's actually very true. It would be nice to take a weekend off and go hang out with friends and then come back and know the car's ready and all you have to do is go jump in it and take off racing, but it's just not that easy.
Mm-hmm. You know, like last year taking the season off, I got to go to a bunch of different tracks and go watch, and I did a lot of traveling to Wisconsin and checked out some tracks there, and went to a lot of midget races too, just to see how that was, and actually went to like a bunch of Cardinal baseball games and stuff like that, just doing stuff that I wasn't able to do before, and it was fun, but it's definitely not the same. You know, I would rather be in a car.
I could not agree more. I've set out just a couple of races, and it just about killed me. Now, you mentioned work earlier, and that it's kind of a struggle to balance work and racing because, like you said, racing is pretty much full-time. How do you balance your work and your racing when you're in the car?
I work for my dad for his cleaning business, and I manage part of it, so I have people work for me, but you know, you have to make sure everything's getting done right, and you'll still get your phone calls and everything, and it's just so much easier when you're here, but, I mean, you have to be gone, so we're going to see how next year goes, because I'm going to probably have to take off a lot of Friday nights, so we'll just see how it goes, and hope I can keep my people at work in line, and keep everything going smooth so we can keep the money flowing in for the race car. It's
definitely going to be a challenge for you.
I'm willing to take it.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing else to do. What future goals do you have as far as racing goes?
Future goals, I definitely want to stay in a sprint car. I love it. I want to run the MOA series next year for sure, and get back in the seat and get used to driving again and see how that works out. And then I would like to run with the Outlaws. That's my main goal, and to run a full season with them would just be amazing.
When you started racing, did you realize that this was going to be your next career choice?
Yeah, that's all I've ever wanted to do since I was little. I mean, started racing when I was 8 and completely dedicated since then. So, I mean, and I couldn't imagine myself doing anything else. I went to school for a while and decided I was going to school for business, and that's not really my thing. So, still going to try to get some hours in and do that, but I would much rather be racing. So.
I couldn't agree with you more. Now, we're going to hang tight for just a second. We're going to take a really quick break. After the break, we'll be taking callers for Tiffany. If anybody wants to call in and ask Tiffany a question, the number to call in is 347-945-5091, 347-945-5091. Hang tight. We'll be right back.
Do you have a love story that revolves around racing? Well, if you do, submit it now. Tiffany@racingaddicts.com. Only one lucky listener will be chosen.
Make sure you guys submit your stories if you want to be featured on our February 12th episode. Now, we're talking with Tiffany Wyzard, and she's been out of the seat for about a year now, and she's going to be getting back in for 2013. She's got some big things planned. Tiffany, what was your most memorable race that you've raced so far?
In the sprint car?
Yes.
Racing with the Outlaws. I made my first Outlaw show in Hofstad, Indiana, and I thought that was the greatest thing ever. You know, I used to go watch sprint car races, World Outlaw shows, and always wanted to be able to race with them guys. And, you know, I got my butt kicked, but it was still a lot of fun. And I think I ended up like 15th that night, and I was pretty impressed with myself. So
that's actually pretty awesome. When you're out there on the track with the guys, you know, both of the other girls that were on earlier said, you know, they get raced just like they're a guy out there. Would you agree or disagree with that statement?
I agree. I think we take a beating out there sometimes. More locally, I don't think it's as bad as it used to be. But I've been racing with most of the guys I race with now since I was young, so we've kind of all moved up together. And so they're all used to the girl thing, but when you travel, it's kind of iffy of how people are going to take you. And, you know, we've definitely had a few instances where they'll just run you over for no reason. So hopefully people can start to look past that and realize that we have the same talents that they do, and we're just trying to make it somewhere.
If there was a girl that was just getting into racing, and I've asked the other two ladies this as well because we have a lot of ladies that are listening to the show today, and I did it that way on purpose, but if there's a lady that's just getting started with racing or that's interested, what advice would you give to her?
Just not to give up. I mean, you gotta try to hang with the guys. I mean, it's hard, but you can't give up, and no matter what people say or what they do, you just got to keep at it and do the best you can and see what happens. Because, I mean, we've had multiple instances where it's just you've gotten taken out on purpose, but you have to just look at it as a bad night and move on to the next night. If not, you can't, worry about what happened all week, and, you just have to improve yourself and just go from there.
You kind of mentioned something that everybody else has said, too. You can't give up, and you're going to take a beating. You're absolutely right. Some of those guys, they don't care. Some of them retaliate, and some of them think, this is a guy sport. You don't belong out here, and I'm going to prove that to you. Although at the end of the night, it's like you said, you've grown up racing with these guys, and you've kind of all moved up together. So at the end of the night, if you had had a situation, it's so much easier to walk up to them and talk through it or say, hey, this is what I did on the track, and clearly it didn't work. How do I fix that? And it's great to know that they're on board and able to talk you through it and help you out. They don't just turn their back and walk off on you.
Yeah, that is nice about running the local stuff. You get pretty much everyone's friends out there, and at the end of the night, you can just say, hey, buddy, I'm sorry, what happened, accidents happen out there, but, and, I haven't had any of, the local guys take me out on purpose, so that's good, but, yeah, you'll get it no matter what. I don't know, I'm still doing it, though. I mean, you really just can't give up on it.
That's very true. You can't give up. There's just no way. Now, if you had to choose to do your whole career over, do you see yourself still as a race car driver? You are very dedicated to it. You love what you do. Could you see yourself doing anything else?
No, I really couldn't see myself doing anything else. I don't have another passion like this, so I don't know. I think the only thing I would have ever done different is to start sprint cars a little sooner. We ran mini sprints for a long time, and I think we should have probably got out of that before we did. But that's the only thing I would ever change about it.
I don't blame you. I wouldn't change what I'm doing either. I love it. Absolutely love it. Now, we mentioned a little bit about the little guy, the dude, that does all of your marketing for you and your PR work. And, you know, I was kind of joking with him last night, and he said, you know, do you want any juicy gossip to spread and, you know, talk about Tiffany? And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that to her. But I'm going to pick on him for a little bit because he kind of told on himself when he said, I said something about pink and black, you know, and I said, are y'all thinking about changing the color scheme for next year for the car? And he said, I hope not. I would have to get rid of a bunch of stuff. I'd have to change everything in my room. And I literally started laughing so hard because my whole room is pink and black. You know, my crew chief probably doesn't own one thing that's pink and black unless I purchased it and made him take it. So I thought that was absolutely awesome.
Yeah, that definitely shows his dedication. I remember when I first met him, he was too scared to come up and talk to me, and my dad finally introduced us, and he was just on cloud nine, and, I mean, super nice guy, but he was kind of nervous at first to meet me, and, you know, didn't know how to take me, so he's definitely went somewhere from there.
He's definitely shy, that's for sure. Now, you know, it takes a lot of work to get your name back out there, and he's done a tremendous job. You know, he's done some press releases for you that are just outstanding, and you've got the website up and going, and you've got Twitter, and you've got Facebook, like you mentioned earlier. And how important is it to you for you to be coming back, being out of the seat for a year? How important is it to you to get your name back out there and have people know that you are going to be racing again this year?
I think that's the most important thing there is to get your name out there, and that way people are interested and know you're doing it. And I think that's pretty much how you're going to get your sponsors too. And that's what you have to keep going. So that really is the main thing that we're going for right now.
I think y'all are doing a tremendous job, first of all. You know, we have Anna Marie with Marketing at Full Speed who comes on, and she'll be on the show here again within the next few weeks, and that's one of the things that she says, you know, you've got to get your name out there. You have got to let people know what's going on with you. So good job. The website looks amazing. I absolutely love it. I actually met Josh this weekend face-to-face with driverwebsites.com, and he does a tremendous job with his websites.
Yeah, he did a great job on ours, and it's easy to keep updated, and he's got a lot of, you can just click on little tabs that will take you to my Facebook page or to my Twitter page, and they can, so I mean, it's really about making it easy so people know how to do it, and, you know, if you're not really technologically, you know, savvy, you can still work it and see what's going on, so that's really cool, and Justin does a really good job of keeping it updated, and it's easy to keep updated, too, so, I mean, that makes things a lot easier also.
That makes it 10 times easier and more pleasing for busy people like us. Now, if people want to find you on Facebook, how can they find you?
It's Wyzard5 is my racing account, or Tiffany Wyzard is my personal account, and I think we're going to have them connected somehow, and so you can kind of look at both. I know people like to look at the personal side a little bit also to kind of see how your life goes a little besides racing. So I mean, people can stay entertained that way.
So it's definitely easy to find you, and you are willing to entertain people with your personal life. Unlike me, I am very skeptical. I do too much for people to know too much about me personally. But then again, all of my personal friends hear about racing stuff 24 hours a day anyway, because that's all I ever post and talk about. It's like you said, it's my life. So anyway, there's a website people can follow you on. You're on Twitter. You're on Facebook. I think that you are pretty much socially connected every way possible. Your name is definitely getting out there. Now, as far as marketing partners go, who are your sponsors that are going to be with you for 2013?
Well, we have Largely Cleaning Service, of course, and then my parents have a little restaurant. It's called Izzy's. They're on board, and that FK Rod-Ins, they've helped us out a lot in the past. They're a fun group of people. And then we have Hoosier Tire. We have a local store. It's about 10 minutes away from us, so they try to help us out as much as they can. Got Molly. Bill McKnight helps us out a lot, getting us some different bearings and stuff like that for the engine, so that helps. We got Redline Oil. They're on board, so that helps out tremendously. We got Schoenfeld Headers. We got Type 64. Simpson Bell. We got a bunch of them, and I couldn't think of enough for their support.
You do have a bunch of them, which is awesome because it definitely helps, especially when you're trying to get back out there. Now, is there anybody that you need to personally thank that's been with you for a while and helped you out?
Yeah, I would like to personally thank my father for making this all happen. He puts as much time as he can into it, and he's been dedicated since day one, and he's made it easy for me. You know, when the times that you wanted to, give up and call the night or whatever, he's always willing to push you, and some nights you need that. So he's always been there for me, and my mom just for letting me race. She goes to the track to watch and sits in the trailer and says she can see me out there. So that's always fun. And I would like to personally thank Justin. He's done a lot for me this year, and he's definitely getting my name out there. And hopefully we're going to have a successful 2013 season. And I'd like to thank Tony, my uncle, for helping us. He comes down and works on the cars when he can too, and it's everyone that just makes this possible. It's amazing.
You have such a good support group standing behind you. There is no way you guys are not going to have a great season, just with personalities that you guys are out there throwing back and forth at one another are just absolutely awesome. You are very fun. You're very outgoing. I see nothing but success in your future. Now, let me ask you one thing before we head off. There's always that one thing or one race, rather, that we just are looking the most forward to. Would you say that your first race is what you're looking most forward to, or is there one specific race you just cannot wait to race?
Definitely the first race, just so I can get back in the car. I mean, I've been waiting for it for over a year now, so that definitely is probably going to be that night. Other than that, just to get back at my local track, Jacksonville Speedway, just to see my fans, and I mean, they go crazy there. So anytime I'm in front of a crowd that I have a ton of fans at, that's always great. I mean, I can't thank my fans enough. They're what makes this happen also.
I could not agree with you more. I wish you nothing but success, Tiffany. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Justin, thank you for getting us hooked up together. And Tiffany, seriously, I hope you have a fabulous season. I know it's going to be a little nerve-wracking at first, and it's also going to be just completely filled with tons of emotions. And I wish you nothing but success. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having us, and good luck to you next year also.
Thank you. I definitely need it.